So welcome to today's lesson, lesson 1.2, place value patterns. So our goal is that strong mathematicians can read, write, and model numbers to thousands. Right now in your notebook today, you need to put today's date and start to put down this information that you find in box 1. These are our notes that will help us guide us with our examples and help us with our problems that we'll be working out later. So first off, we have standard form. Said standard form is the number like 8,562. It's the number itself. So when we talk about things that are in standard form, that's what we mean by standard form, the number, 8,562. If we say word form, that means we want it written out as in a word form, 8,562. Notice it's written in words. And if we ask for expanded form, we're taking each place value and we're adding them together separately. So we have 8,000 plus 500 plus 60 plus 2. Those all together equal 8,562. So feel free to pause the video right now, write this information down to help you out as your resource and your examples as we move forward through this lesson. So in box 2, we're going to start working on some of our examples. So taking that information we just wrote down in our notes and now applying it to this information. One of the biggest things we know is that we need to take time to make sure we read the instructions carefully so we know what form we're actually trying to get to. So notice we have 73 equals, and so we need to read and write each number in expanded form. So I always like to say, take myself and give myself a little guide and say expanded form. So I'm looking at what form I have to go to. I can always go back to my notes on this page, take a look, expanded form is right here, so I know I'm using this form right now. So with that, what is 73 in expanded form? Well, it's each place value written separately but added together. So my 7 is in my tens place value, so that means I would have 7 tens or 70, plus my 3 is in the ones place value, so I have 70 plus 3. Doing the same thing, I have 4 different place values right here, which means I'm going to have 4 things, 4 numbers I'm adding together. So the 5 is in the thousands place value, so I would have 5,000. Said plus my 6 is in the hundreds place value, so that would be 600. Plus the 2 is in the tens place value, which would be 20. Plus the 1 in the ones place value, to give me 1. So in expanded form, 5,621. So now we're going to write each thing now in standard form. So notice we're taking the information and we're going to standard form. So we're taking the numbers and moving them to expanded form, that you see that they're written into standard form. So notice we have 40 plus 3. This 3 kind of would fill the ones place value, so we would have 43. Here we have 1,000 plus 70 plus 9. Notice we're missing 100. There's no number in the 100 place value. So as we would write this, we'd start with 1 in our 1,000 place value. There are no hundreds, so I would put a 0 there. We need those zeros to hold those place values. And then 79. So 1,079. So you got to make sure when we look for numbers, if they're not all in there, we know the biggest numbers can tell me there are 4 place values total. And we notice that sometimes place values can be held with a 0. And now our last one would be in word form. So writing these now in Word. Why do we write them in words? Well, when we still write checks, I know I have to write some checks out, I have to use the word form. So when I see this, my first clue would be not to start writing in word form. 400 plus 40 plus 1 would be 441. Now that I see this number, I can write 441. And the next one, I have 1,050. So I know it's going to have 4 digits. So I need to start with 150. Nope, 50 is not 100. So that would be a 0 in the hundreds place value. 550. So that would be in the tens place value. And another 0. So we have 1,000. 50. And now we have our numbers right there from expanded form to Word form. So now it's your turn. So what you're going to do right now is you want to write this number out. You make sure you know what form you're going to. So start with your number, start with the information. So I'd write down the directions. Said read and write each one in expanded form. Remember, put emphasis on expanded form. Write the number down and answer these right now. Now that you finished those, we're going to do the same thing. If there's some more turn to practice this. Read and write each number now in standard form. So now you can pause the video again, write them out from expanded form, and you want to put them in standard form. Remember, if you're not sure what standard form is, go back to your notes that we took earlier in this lesson to use as a reference. Finally, we have expanded form in Word form. So if you can use our example that we had earlier in this video about how you go from expanded to standard, and then that can help them go from standard to Word form. So pause the video right now, complete these, and see how well you've done. So notice, like I said, if there's any questions or comments or things you're not sure about, this would be a great spot to write these in your notebook, and we'll use these as talking points as we discuss what we need to do moving forward. If you have any strategies that have helped you, please include those as well, because sometimes your ideas can also help other students in the class learn.